Right, okay, folks, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. Yeah, you can see I'm actually live from an arcade in London. Not really. I'm sure you were fooled for about half a second. No, I've just been pissed about with one of these virtual backdrop things. It's not something I ever really bothered with, but because I'm sitting downstairs, I figured it would having a nice having some arcades. In fact, I'm just looking at that. They're all Pac-Mans. I wonder where that is actually. Yeah, I just thought that would beat the sort of the background in my living room. So anyway, yeah, how are you? I hope you're all doing well. It's Thursday. What date is it? The 15th of September. When you're watching this, if you're watching this on Friday night, I will be at a gig in Glasgow, and the person in question I'm going to see is Christy Burr. Now, anytime I tell people that I'm a fan of Christy Burr, it's always followed by some kind of muffled laughter, which does annoy me because this is the thing. 99% of people, if you said to them, name 3 Christy Burr songs, the first one that they're going to say is, what's it called? Lady in Red. That's the first one they're going to say. The second one, if they're lucky, they'll probably know the song, but they might not know it's Christy Burr, would be Spaceman Came Travelling. That song that you get every Christmas time. And that's it. People don't know him for everything else, or anything else, I should say. And that is where I get annoyed because, whilst I'm a fan of Christy Burr, Lady in Red, I can't stand. Can't stand it. Because it's nothing like his other work. It was overplayed at the time. It's complete romantic claptrap. Really is. Not a fan of the song at all. But unfortunately, that was the song that he became synonymous with. It was his biggest hit. And of course, people remember him for that and that song only. I mean, it's to try and explain, if you only knew the pop group Kiss for Crazy Nights, that was probably their biggest hit. And that's all people know. It's the same with Guns N' Roses. People know them for Sweet Child of Mine. Oh, saying that, Sweet Child of Mine is one of the best rock tracks ever. Though it's one of these songs now, I wouldn't say I dislike it. It's been overplayed to death. It really has. It's one of these songs even your granny knows. If your granny heard that at a wedding, she'd be getting up and headbanging. But yeah, I mean, the old Christy Burr syndrome with Kiss. Crazy Nights, people just think, when people who don't know the group, they hear that song, oh, that's Kiss, or Living on a Prayer with Bon Jovi. There's always one song that a group becomes well known for, and people judge, they form an opinion of a group or a person based on that one song that they know. And like I says, Christy Burr, that song Lady in Red is, well, I don't like it. I'm not going to say it's shite, but it's not my, it's far too yucky. I first got into Christy Burr, when would it be? Probably 1983, 1984, probably 1984 actually. And it was a guy that I was still at school at that point. It was a guy, Robert Davidson. Don't know what happened to him. Haven't seen him for the best part of. We're talking about 39 years, 38 years, something like that. He's not going to be watching this. I know that he might even be dead. Who knows? But anyway, Robert, he was one of these guys. He used to come to my house all the time, and I wasn't really. He was quite nasty to me, and he wasn't a pleasant individual. But nobody really liked him. He wasn't a pleasant individual at all. But he used to come to my house, and he would come to my door, and I would say to my mum, "Tell him I'm not in," whatever. But The one thing I do thank him for is he introduced me to Christy Burr. Not literally Chris. This is main meister. This is Chris. I wish. No, he introduced me to Christy Burr's music. I've never even heard of him before. And the album in question was Spanish Train and Other Stories. It came out in the 70s, I think. I'm not 100% sure when it came out, but it was an early album. And it's all stories. The one song that some people might know from that album would be Spanish Train, possibly. You might have heard of it. All these songs tell stories. Another one that you might have heard of is Patricia the Stripper, which is a complete fun kind of song. So I first got into Christy Burr just listening to this album, and that was it. I was hooked. He brought out other songs. I mean, one of the songs that, again, that people may remember him for is High on Emotion, which is a great, really kind of uplifting song where peaceful waters flow, possibly, and Don't Pay the Ferryman. You know what? If you heard these songs, you might not know it's him. If you heard these songs, I would guarantee you'll probably go, oh, I remember that song. So that was it. I was hooked. I went to see him in concert in maybe 1985, and then I saw him again. He's one of these guys. He's I think he's originally from Ireland, and he very rarely plays the UK. Unfortunately, I don't know why. He's massive, absolutely massive in like Norway and Germany and all these places. So he tends to, even I think the Middle East, he's really big. So he does tend to kind of tour over there. About maybe 6 years ago, I got tickets for my birthday to go and see him. I can't remember where it was. Oh, it was Usher Hall, actually. No, it wasn't Usher Hall. It was it was Usher Hall in Edinburgh. And it was just him, an amp, and his guitar. And that was it. There was nobody else. There was no backing singers. There was no band. Absolutely nothing. And he was on stage for over 3 hours. I think he did something like 6 or 7 encores, which is brilliant. And some people might go, oh yeah, that's just kind of playing to the crowd. But one thing that always really resonated with me, in front of me was a guy. He was obviously completely paralysed from the neck down. He was in a wheelchair. His head was in a kind of brace. He was in front of me in the concert, and at one point, Christy Burr, he came into the crowd. He put like wireless headphones, wireless mic, whatever, on, and then he started walking about the crowd, and he came up to this guy and he just gave the guy a big cuddle. And I mean, I was literally like 3 feet away, and I got quite emotional, and it was absolutely epic to be so close to somebody that I've kind of looked up to for such a long time. I would say, you know what, if you want to judge somebody based on one song or whatever, that's entirely up to you. But if you're into something a bit different, then I would suggest you go and check it out. If you've got Amazon Music, if you've got iTunes, whatever, one of these streaming services, take a look at Spanish Train, listen to a few of the tracks, and come back and tell me what you think. So yeah, when you're watching this, if it's Friday, I will hopefully be at the Christy Burr concert. Yeah, was it? Obviously, I did a waffle, it wasn't a live waffle. It was a waffle last week with one of my regulars, one of my mates, Dale, on whatever day it was, last Thursday. I was down in London from the Saturday to the Sunday. Not the Sunday to the Saturday, I should say. And I had an absolute blast. I'm not going to get into details because I've already told you what I've been up to. I mean, I went to see Back to the Future stage show. Did lots of things. Went to Buckingham Palace, and this was the day before the Queen died. So we did all the kind of touristy things. Me and my daughter, and then my daughter went home on the Wednesday, and people were saying to me, "Oh, you're going to be bored. Oh, that's a shame. What are you going to do with yourself?" And you know what? I had an absolute brilliant time, absolute blast. Like I said, my mate came down on Thursday. We spent a few hours. What did we do? We went for something to eat and whatever. So it was nice to kind of catch up with him. And then on the Friday, I went to the comedy club. Is it the 99 Comedy Club? I think it's called. There was 3 comedians and they were brilliant. They were really, really, really good. And you know, one thing that I thought was really nice, probably the highlight of the night actually. When I got there was I turned up on my own, obviously, got a drink, £6 for a bottle of cider. There was quite a few people there. I mean, I think there's maybe about 200 people in total. And one of the sort of waitresses came up to me and she says, "Are you on your own? Are you with somebody?" And I says, "No, I'm just here on my own." She goes, "Well, do you want to sit at the front?" And I'm like, well, she goes, "Are you all right with that?" And I thought, well, yeah, that's fine. So I ended up sitting at the very, very, very front. I was literally from here. I was about 3 feet away from the comedians. Really, really good. But sitting next to me was an Indian couple. And, you know, in London, and it's a fact, in London, people don't really speak to you. People are very unfriendly. On the tube, people just completely ignore you. I mean, I walked into this person accidentally, kind of banged them in the shoulder, and the girl turned around and looked at me, and I went, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And she just kind of looked through me, and there was no recognition that I was even there. You know, I love London, but it's a horrible place as far as people just, I don't know what it is. It might actually just be society. I think, to be fair, I think it's just society in general. But I sat next to this Indian couple, and we got talking. And he says, "Oh, who are you here with?" I says, "No, I'm just down here." So what are you doing? I says, "I'm cat sitting." And they laughed at that. And, you know, we had a laugh, Blair, and they had the guy and his wife. And then they got me a drink, you know, and it was great, you know. So I went down there. I went there a lot on my own. And I came away with 2 new friends. In fact, they ended up, the girl added me on Facebook, and we got a wee selfie taken as well. So it was good. So, you know, to go to a place in London, not knowing anybody, and then you end up coming away. I mean, there was people behind us. We were all talking, having a really, really good laugh. So that was great. That was Friday. This downside to the holidays, my train was due at 1 o'clock. It left King's Cross at 1 o'clock. Got there for about 12 o'clock, hung about, got a coffee, and just kind of hung about, blared at a guy sitting next to me as I do. I mean, I talk to anybody, you know, I'll sit down and within 2 minutes I'll be talking to whoever I'm sitting next to. Got the train at 1, and then I don't know what time it would be. It stopped at a place called Chat Hill, I think it is. I'm sure it's Chat Hill. Chathill, something like that. And they told us that there was apparently some rocks on the rail on the track, and there was going to be a delay while they removed them. So that was half an hour went by. Then they came back on and said they've been told that all northern trains are obviously stopped at the moment until the track's clear. There are guys going to remove the boulders. I thought, that's fine. It says, so, you know, we'll give you an update. About half an hour later, they came back and said, we've just been told that there's some technical engineers going to be making their way out to remove the boulders to survey and see if it's safe to go past. And then about an hour later, then they said, "Look, we're still waiting for an update. We will be, for those passengers that are meant to be going to Berwick upon Tweed, which was about another 63 miles away, they said we're hopefully going to be able to move and get to Berwick upon Tweed." Anyway, cut a long story short, instead of getting home at 5:20, I got home at, I think it was 11:05 at night. So it was like 6 hour delay. So that was my Saturday night, completely blown apart. You know, I mean, when I got back to what do you call it, back to Livingston, I then had to a 10-minute walk with my cases. You know, so that was the only downside to the holiday. It wasn't the holiday itself; it was just the fact there was a delay. So hopefully I'll get my money back, because I think if you're delayed more than, is it 2 hours, I think you're entitled to a full refund. So we'll see what happens. So yeah, London was great. Back to work. I was off on the Monday, which was quite good. Didn't do very much, and then back to work on Tuesday. That was a bit of thought going back. I'm like, oh, really? But anyway, I'm back. That's the important thing. This weekend, what are we doing? Excuse me, I'm off on Monday because it's the Queen's. It's the Queen's, what do you call it, funeral. I've just before I came on to record this video, I noticed I wanted to go and have a look to see if there was any questions for from last week's waffle, and there's currently a live stream of the Queen's body in Westminster, and it's just all these people walking past. It's actually quite surreal. It really is. I mean, I've seen all this stuff on social media. I understand why people do it, but I've even seen people posting pictures of an aeroplane and saying, you know, God rest your majesty. Now, how do they know that's the Queen's plane? At the end of the day, it's a little plane in the sky. I don't know. I mean, when I got back to Scotland, I did for about 10 seconds think maybe I should go through and, you know, pay my respects, but I would be kind of a wee bit of a hypocrite because I wasn't a big royal fan. I did like the Queen, and I'm not going to talk about it because I spoke about it last week in the waffle. I thought I actually liked her. I really did. I was sad that she'd passed away because obviously she's been part of everybody's life for like 70 odd years, but I didn't bother, and I'm glad, because I think it would have been one of these things that would have been absolutely heaving with people. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a quick little drink of my coffee. So, right, I haven't got a lot to talk about. The first one, I kind of swithered about putting this out or mentioning this, and I thought, no, I'm going to mention it. There's a torrent site which is awesome for like ROMs and retro games and all that kind of stuff. And I usually go to the site maybe once a week just to see what that is, because you get stuff like books, like retro books and all that kind of stuff. It's great. You get all these really obscure systems. But there was a game that popped up, and when I saw the name, I thought, nah, surely not. It intrigued me. Let me just find it. Yeah. Can I even read this? Right, anyway, this is the game, and I'm reading the description. Rape play, as in RAPELAY. Rape play is played from the perspective of a Chikan named Masala Kamura, who stalks and subsequently rapes the Karu family, a mother, daughter, and her two daughters. The player can choose from a variety of sexual positions and controls the action by making movements with the mouse or by scrolling the mouse wheel. It features a realistic sexual simulator which allows the player to grope and undress the characters on a crowded train. Later, the player may have forced intercourse with all three women at his leisure. The player has a variety of sexual positions to choose from, such as woman on top, forced fellatio, and threesomes. Rape play also has a Nakadashi internal ejaculation counter, which carries a danger of pregnancy. After completing the storyline and breaking the girls, in other words, raping them, There are 5 modes of gameplay. Nozoki mode, where the player watches the girl wait in the subway station and upon saying a prayer can blow their skips up with the wind, exposing their underwear. After certain achievements have been made, the player has the option of removing the girl's clothing as well as inserting vibrators, but no touching is involved. Shikan mode is similar to Nozoki mode, except the player goes into the train with the girl and fondles them with the ability to remove their clothing. 2-player or 2P mode. In this option, the player can have sex with any one of the 3 girls. The main character is in danger of being killed under certain circumstances, but there is no level restrictions. There is also an option of different sex positions, including oral sex. 5-player mode is where the player is restricted to one sex position with 3 other males raping one girl during gang rape. The level restrictions for this mode include locations with small space. Shippo, also known as 3-player or 2-player mode. In this mode, the main character is able to have sex with 2 or 3 of the girls at once. Yeah, that's apparently a game. I read through it and I was actually shocked that anybody or any company could deem that appropriate. I mean, fucking seriously, what's next? Are you going to have a raping children game? I'm absolutely blown away with just how this could be a thing. And I went onto YouTube, and it doesn't show you anything about the game, but it's a game that appears in top 10 of the worst games ever. You know, games you shouldn't play. And I actually commented on the torrent. I just said I am not a snowflake. I'm not from the snowflake generation. I says I've been playing video games where you're killing people, what have you. You're maiming people. You're cutting their head off. You know, I've played Resident Evil, but raping somebody. I'm utterly shocked. And I said I put a comment saying that I don't feel that this game should be available for people to play. I mean, what kind of... Now, I know there's people when you say, get off your high horse, it's just a game. Now, you're partly right, it is just a game. When I play Call of Duty, not that I play Call of Duty, but if I play some first-person shooter or if I play some shoot-'em-up, yeah, I'm destroying people, I'm killing people, like I said, I'm maiming them or taking their head off or stabbing them repeatedly. But I know it's only a game. It doesn't make me go out and do it. But for somebody to actually want... I actually think that the person or the people, the company, now trust me, you can Google it if you want. This game it's not some... there's some like rude games. There was a game on the Atari 2600 where I think you played like General Custer and you've got to basically have sex, and you can imagine the graphics. That's bad enough, but it's stupid. But this is a proper high-end game. I'm presuming that it came out for Windows. I mean, you're using the mouse and whatever. But I just can't imagine what kind of sick fuck would actually think that this is a good idea. Raping a girl. I'm really quite angry actually. I can't believe that shit like that actually exists. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to talk about it. I just think I was absolutely gobsmacked. My daughter was actually sitting in the room at the time, and I said to her, "Have a look at this, Ava." And she looked at it and she goes, "I don't want to see this." And I went, "I just can't." I got angry. I said, "I just can't believe that some bullshit like this would exist." To me, that says a lot about the people. Like I said, there's lots of bad things in the world, But for me, raping a woman or raping a child is the worst. So if these people think that having I mean, what this game is a raping simulator, a rape simulator. You can rape somebody in a computer game. So if they think that's okay, like I said, are they going to come out with one where he sexually abused children? Perhaps they could get Jimmy Savile to, he could be the sort of like the, whatever it is, the cover. I don't know. I've seen everything. And I'm actually angry that that game even exists, honestly. Right, I'm going to have another cut. I'm going to calm down for a second. No, I've kind of gone all ghost mode. I'm disappeared. There we go. That's the problem with using these. You're meant to use a green screen. I don't. I mean, I'm sitting in my living room, but it looks all right. I think it certainly looks better than my living room backdrop. Right, the last thing I'm going to talk about is impulsive bidding on eBay. When my mate was down seeing me in London, he brought along this laptop to let me see, and the laptop brand new was £4,000, £4,000 to buy. Which obviously I didn't actually know that laptops could go to that amount of money. So when I was like, wow, this thing is a dog's bollocks. So when I got home on Saturday, no, that wouldn't be Saturday because I didn't get back till almost midnight. On the Sunday after getting back to London, I contacted my mate and I said, oh, I really fancy one of these computers. And he sent me a link to one on eBay. Now, I don't mean telling you, it's the one that I was bidding on was obviously, it was second hand and it was like an older model. But it was, starting bid was 840 quid, I think. Now, I bought my daughter, in fact, I'm using it just now. I'm using it here for recording this video. It's HP. It costs £900, but my girlfriend's brother works for HP. Works for HP, so he got it. I don't mean HP sauce, by the way. He got, I think it was like 20% off it. So I got the computer for 700 quid. Now that was my daughter's Christmas birthday, and it was also her 18th birthday. So I thought, don't mind getting her something decent. She wanted a laptop, so I bought her it, and never used it. Never ever used it. I think because it's a kind of more like a kind of netbook. I mean, it's lovely. It's got the touch screen and all this kind of stuff. It's really nice. So I ended up, it was just sitting gathering dust, never got used. So I said to her, look, I'm needing a laptop for myself. Do you want me to buy it off you? I says, but I'm not giving you the full value. I says, it's about 6 months old. I said, I'll give you 400 quid for it. So we agreed. So I bought it off her for 400 quid. So this fancy dancy laptop, I thought to myself, right, okay, I could maybe go up to about 950 quid, which is a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but the reason for me buying it was my desktop PC it's a decent PC. It's far from cutting edge. I mean, it's probably coming up to about 10 years old. I did get a new graphics card about 3 years ago, and it does me. But when it comes to like rendering intros and all that kind of stuff for YouTube, it does take a while. So my mate said, look, you get something like this. I think it's an i9, whereas my processor, my desktop is an i7. He says, you get yourself an i9, he says it's going to be a lot quicker. So anyway, that was it. I'd seen this computer, I thought, I want it. I thought to myself, if I do buy it, I can sell the netbook or the laptop. I mean, although it's just over a year old and it's worth 900 quid, so I thought I could probably get about £400-500 for it, and then I'll either pay it up or else I'll sell a computer and have the money. So on the, I think it was a Monday, yeah, it was a Monday morning because I was on holiday on Monday. Monday morning, I think it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, the auction was going to end. And so I'm sitting there watching it, and it was like 840. Then about 10 minutes to go, it went up to, I think it's about 870 quid. I thought, right, okay. And I had a figure in my head. I thought, I'll go to about 950. I didn't want to go above 1,000. That's just too much money. I'm not comfortable paying £1,000 to somebody on eBay. And the guy had at the bottom no returns. So you know what? I mean, I know eBay are very strict when it comes to kind of protecting buyers, but I wasn't comfortable spending 1,000. All right, spending 950, but not 1,000. Go figure. So anyway, yeah, about 5 minutes to go, it went up to I think 920. I thought, so then it was counting down, and with about 20 seconds to go, I think it was 950, and then it just went, and it went up to 1,070 quid, and that was the winning bid. And for about 10 seconds, I was like disappointed because I'd kind of convinced myself I was going to be getting this computer. And then, you know what? After 10 seconds, I thought to myself, I've just saved myself £1,000 here. And I thought, I don't need it. I absolutely didn't need it. So I had like the reverse of buyer's remorse. It was like the non-buyer's high. You know, I went from not getting it to thinking, excellent, I don't have to, you know, I'm not I'm not going to be all this money in debt. So have you guys ever done that? Have you bought it? Have you kind of either, you know, wanted to get something and you've missed out on it, and then you then sort of become relieved that you never actually managed to get it? I've had that a few times. There's been a few times, yeah, there's been a few times. I remember one time, it was years ago, I decided I was wanting to get myself one of the big iPad Pros, a bit like this, where you can't actually see it. And I thought to myself, right, it's an old model, it'll probably cost me 500 quid. So I went into the Apple store, and I says, oh, I'm looking for one of the big iPads. And this is, and then they brought out this one, and I think it was slightly smaller, and it was about 900 quid. And I'm like, oh, right, okay. My daughter was with me, and she went, oh, that's a lot of money, Dad. I went, I know, but I really kind of want one. And I thought, oh, I don't know. And then the guy says to me, I was kind of that close from giving him my credit card. And then he says, you know, I says, oh, I don't know. And yeah, there was there was a smaller screened version for like 500 quid. So, you know, I thought to myself, I'm not paying £900. I'm not paying it. Then the guy says to me, look, why don't you think about buying a refurbished one in the Apple store? I thought, that's not a bad shout, because I absolutely don't have a problem with buying second-hand stuff. So I says, yeah, can you have a look? And he says, well, actually, no, you can't. He says, you're going to have to. In fact, you know what? I think he did. I think he went on his phone, and up popped one. I think it was about 300-400 quid, something like that. I think that's what it was. And I thought, oh, I can get that. And I says, oh, can right, okay, just go for it. And he went, well, actually, we can't buy anything through the refurb store. You've got to go and buy it, you know, using your laptop or your computer. So I thought, right, okay, that's fair enough. I'll spend 500 quid. And then when I left the shop, within about 5 minutes, I thought to myself, I can't afford £500. And I don't need it. So I just decided, I thought, nah, I'm not doing it. I'm not buying it. Then when I got home, went on eBay, and I got this second hand one. I think it was, I'm sure it was £199. So I managed to get just as good a one for a fraction of the price. But yeah, the old non-buying high. When you've kind of committed yourself, you've convinced yourself that you want something, and then you're going to buy it, and then at the last minute, for whatever reason, maybe you're outbidded. I mean, there must be thousands of people that get in, they go on eBay and they think, right, I'm going to buy this, and they have a kind of price in their head, and then they get in a kind of bidding war, and they think, I want to have it, I want to have it, and they end up spending way more than they can afford. And but yeah, let me know. Have you ever been in the brink of spending a shitload of money, and then at the last minute, for whatever reason, you've decided not to bother, and then after that, after the initial sort of low that you're not getting the thing, you think to yourself, actually, I've just saved myself all that money because I don't need it. And that's the thing. If I had bought that laptop, I didn't need it. I mean, I think I would definitely use it, but I didn't need it. So, anyway, right, listen, I'm moving for time, 36 minutes. I'm just going to jump into the Friday Waffle from last week. I don't think there's a lot of questions. Right, wee Bob. Let's have a look. Question for next time. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is one of my favourite games. There are options to play the slow game with stealth and assassination. Then you can just run in and face the enemies head on. I love that, as sometimes I'm in the mood for both. There is something great about blocking an enemy and then using various strategies to take them out. Do you have any preference with regards to this, and are there any games that are stand out? Yeah, there is. There is, Bob. Firstly, Bob, thanks for the question. One of the games, and I think I mentioned it in a, a waffle. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, possibly, and it's Dishonored and Dishonored 2 by Bethesda Software. I played them and completed them on the Xbox 360, and I'm currently playing through Dishonored 2 on the Xbox Series X. And I've never played Assassin's Creed. I might give it a go. Just because they do sound very similar to Dishonored. That's exactly the same. You can use stealth tactics, take people out, or you can even just you can go up behind them, you can cut their throat. What was I saying earlier on? Or else you can just kind of strangle them but not kill them, and then or else the third one is you can just try and kind of use stealth mode. Because I'm quite impatient when it comes to games and a bit pants, I tend to just run up and kill them. So I tend to do the just straight in, kill them. I've not got the patience for the old stealth thing. I used to watch one of my mates play, and I think it was it Splinter Cell or something. I think it might have been, and yeah, it's quite interesting. But and that's probably why I never got into like Metal Gear Solid. I just never really got into it at all. So no, I am 100% Bob, the guy that runs in there guns blazing and usually gets my arse utterly handed out. Let's have a wee look. I think there was right, Colin Jones. Question: if you were offered an all expenses paid suborbital spaceflight in either the Virgin or Blue Origin craft, would you take them up on the offer? We all know it's not going to happen, but it's okay to postulate. What the hell does postulate mean? 100%, Colin. It's interesting you raise this question, because when I was down in London, I went to the Science Museum, and yeah, they had like one of the lunar modules that went on the moon, or I think it might be a sort of an accurate recreation. And you know what? It's quite scary when you look at it. It's like made of thin metal and tinfoil, and that is it. That is what these things are made of. It's like how the hell can they withstand all the heat? There were one of them. It wasn't the module. It was the thing that they come down in when they re-enter the Earth's atmosphere, and they've got the big parachute. And this thing was all completely scorched. It's mental when you see that, but I would love to go to space. If I got offered the chance, 100%, Colin. So if anyone wants to pay that for me, what can I say? Just interesting when I was at the Science Museum, they actually had a sort of a recreation of Stephen Hawking's office, and in the office they had one of his wheelchairs, and they also had a photograph of him when he was in Star Trek. I think it was it Star Trek: The Next Generation? I'm not quite sure. I don't know, because I don't watch the bloody Star Trek. The only Star Trek for me is the original series. But there's a photograph of him with Albert Einstein. Obviously, it's not the real Albert Einstein. It's a kid-on guy. And who was the other kind of philosopher? I can't remember. Louis somebody. I can't remember. Anyway, picture of Stephen Hawking. He was in Star Trek. And there was also a Simpsons leather jacket. And it had all the different characters. And apparently Stephen Hawking was given this jacket because I think he's appeared in The Simpsons about 3 times. And another interesting thing that I heard, apparently his kind of people said to him, look, we can improve the speech, we can make it sound 100% lifelike. And he wasn't interested. Stephen Hawking liked the sort of basic robot voice that we all kind of know. So yeah, I just thought that was I thought that was quite interesting. I'm trying to bloody think. I was sitting talking. You ever do that? You're talking about something, but you're actually trying to think of something else. And I was doing that there, and I was conscious that I was trying to talk and think at the same time. And as we all know, men can't multitask. What was I playing? There's a game. There's been a game that I was going to say. I said, you need to play this. I can't remember for the life of me what it was. One of the games that I have been playing on the Switch, and it's also out in I think it's out in the Play. In fact, I know it's out in the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and it's Tetris, the new Tetris. I'm saying new. It came out about 4 years ago or whatever, and it's excellent. You've got all these backgrounds with kind of ambient music and really, really nice, great game. There's something else. There's another game that I've been playing and I can't for the life of me. What the hell was it? I was playing it down in London, and I have completely and utterly forgotten what it was. If I can remember, I'll tell you. So anyway, listen, last question from the Mr. Milthy Swinbuckle. YouTube boxing is apparently quite a big thing now. Yeah, we've all seen, is it Logan Paul and all that, all these arseholes. Where YouTubers box each other for fame and fortune. With you being a growing YouTuber, what would you do if dirty old YouTube comes a knocking and offers you a large amount of cash to take part in a YouTube boxing match? Let's face it, it's only a matter of time until your notoriety gets noticed by these followers. So my first question is, if you could box another YouTuber, who would you pick? And secondly, how much money would you want to knock them spark out? Brilliant. I don't know where you get these questions from, Milthy, but you know what? They're absolutely stonking. I'm going to add a third question to that. Would I do it? Absolutely, yes. I think boxing is one of these things that every guy secretly would love to have a go at. We know that we would get our arse handed to us, but you know what? I might be an old bloke, but I've just recently got my blue tab for my cook soul. So I go along to Cooksville 3 times a week, and I get flung about. I get put in arm locks. I always get my arms dislocated, my wrists snap. You name it, you're getting chucked about. So I'm quite used to kind of being put through a bit of pain. I used to do boxercise training years ago. You didn't spar as such, but at Cooksville you get to kind of kick each other and that kind of stuff. So if you'd asked me this maybe a year ago, I might have gone, well, I'd have to think about it, but absolutely. Who would I want in box? I don't know. I mean, there's not anyone on YouTube that I dislike. Well, I mean, you could say, Top Hat Gaming Lady Decade. I don't dislike them. I wouldn't want to fight them. I mean, I'm not that type of person. I'm not. I've got my own thoughts about what they've done, but no, I don't think there's any one YouTuber that I would specifically say I would like to take them on. I would like to take on any trolls that are abusive, whatever. I suppose something like that. I don't know. I think for a bit of fun, I think Panther and I should we could get it together in the boxing ring, because Panther does his jiu-jitsu and I do my cook soul. So obviously we would have to get it on to see what one is the better one. I would obviously be at a complete disadvantage because we all know that English people are they're thugs. So I'm sure Panther would take me. But that would be an interesting bout, Panther. What do you think, mate? But I mean, joking aside, I would love to do it. But there's nobody, there isn't anybody that I would say, I dislike them. I would want to, because I'm not into violence. But yeah, it would be good. It would be a bit of fun. So yeah, probably Panther. I think Panther and I would have a bit of respect for each other. He's always said to me, if I'm ever down in his neck of the woods, I could go along to his dojo and show them just what the better martial art is. Joking aside, you know what? Utter respect for anybody that does these things. But yeah, anyway, Milthy, great one. How much would I do it for? It would have to be a substantial amount of money, not for me, but for charity, because I would give it all to charity, absolutely. So it would have to be something fairly decent, I think, to do that. So anyway, guys, listen, I'm going to get going. Yeah, there's nothing much else to say. I will be along, hopefully, as always, on Sunday. I might actually do an extended Sunday night live stream because, yeah, we're all off on Monday. Hooray! Yeah, I might do an extended one. I'll see. I might start earlier. I might actually just start at 7 and go until, I don't know, 10 o'clock, something like that. We'll play it here. We'll just see what happens. Before I forget, I did a live stream on, I think it was Tuesday, and what the hell was it? Oh, was it Monday night? No, it was Monday night. Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't. It was Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday night. I did a live stream, and I think I only did 2 hours, but I was off on the Monday, and awesome. I mean, I think there was almost 50 people watching it, which for a wee channel like me is bloody good. I was well chuffed at that. Great turnout. I don't mind admitting I was really, really chuffed that there was a couple of people that joined the stream. One of them being Funky Spectrum, George. Now, if you don't know who George is, he basically says it exactly how it is. He's one of these guys. He'll say things he'll say things. He's not afraid to say things that everybody else is thinking, but is too afraid to say. And he can be a stand-up comedian, absolutely. His videos are brilliant. I'm going to put a link to George's channel down below. So please go and check him out. He's a legend in his own lunchtime, honestly. He's the guy that has basically has brought Lady Decade and Top Hat Gamer to the fore. He's called them out for the way they've acted. Hilarious. And the second person is Dan Wood. Now, you probably know who Dan is. He's got a great YouTube channel. Massive channel, really good. He's right into his Amiga, awesome channel. But he also, him and Ravi Abbott, and I can't remember the third guy, they do the Retro Hour podcast. Now, the Retro Hour podcast has been going for a long time. They're like up there, they're like the professionals of podcasts. They get all the big hitters, they get all the big guests. I've had everybody from Jeff Minter to, Dominic Diamond, you name it. Anybody that's anybody. They even had Charlie Brooker as well, which was a great video or great podcast. Go and check it out. I will put a link down below. Fantastic. So yeah, I felt quite smug actually having these guys and watching it, thinking, why are they listening to me? And they stayed to the very end, which was just awesome. So listen, Blackpool is only 2 weeks away, 1st and 2nd of October. They've announced the guests. You've probably seen it. Go to the Play Blackpool website. I will be there Saturday, Sunday. I'll be doing the panel talks. Really looking forward to getting together, because a lot of the guys that I'm going to be talking to, I've already chatted to them. Some of them watch my channel. I class them as friends, so I think we're going to have an absolute hoot. So if you've not got your tickets yet, get them, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time. So listen, guys, it just remains for me to say thanks very much for all your continued support, help. I couldn't do it without you lot. And finally, guys, as always, thank you very, very much for watching.